When an aerial threat crosses a border today, the defense has only a fraction of a second to react across hundreds of kilometers of airspace. We saw the exact scale of this battle space during the May 2025 India-Pakistan conflict, known as Operation Sindoor. During the exchange, Indian forces targeted a high-value Pakistani asset, the Saab Air-E airborne early warning and control aircraft. By destroying this flying command post and its dorsal radar array, the defense blinded a critical section of the adversary's airspace. The intercept was executed by the Russian-designed S-400 Triumf surface-to-air missile system, utilizing its massive 4.2 payload. The S-400 downed the Saab at a distance of 314 kilometers. This marked the longest surface-to-air kill recorded in military history. Striking a target from over 300 kilometers away demonstrates severe kinetic reach. However, relying entirely on premium multi-million-dollar interceptors creates a mathematical vulnerability against modern threats like autonomous drone swarms. To actually control a theater of airspace today, a military must build an integrated air defense system. This means balancing extreme kinetic reach with artificial intelligence command nodes and sustainable, low-cost defensive technologies. To understand how this integration works, we have to look at how systems like the S-400 operate. The S-400 functions as a modular network of separate sensors, command posts, and launchers, rather than a single standalone weapon. This diagram shows the system's primary sensory input, the 91N6E phased array radar. It projects a 600-kilometer detection dome capable of tracking 300 airborne contacts simultaneously. That massive volume of telemetry is routed to a central command post. The processors inside coordinate up to 80 simultaneous missile engagements across the network of connected launchers. The battery houses 4 distinct missile types to handle those engagements. The threat rings start with the 9M96E at a range of 40 kilometers and push all the way out to the 4N6E at 400 kilometers, creating a deeply layered defense envelope. For intercepts at the absolute edge of that 400-kilometer ring, the missile uses inertial navigation. The ground-based radar beams mid-course trajectory updates to the interceptor as it crosses the distance, guiding the weapon until it gets close enough for its own internal sensors to take over. In the terminal phase, the missile activates its own onboard active radar to lock onto highly maneuverable targets. It then detonates a high-explosive fragmentation warhead in close proximity, shredding the incoming threat with shrapnel. By combining multiple missile types and ranges into one networked battery, a single operational unit dictates the geometry of an entire theater's airspace. It is an architecture optimized for vast area denial. We can see the specific engineering philosophy behind this area denial capability by comparing the S-400 to its primary Western counterparts. Take the American THAAD system. THAAD is engineered specifically as an upper-tier strategic asset. This atmospheric cross-section illustrates THAAD's operational scope. It uses a hit-to-kill kinetic impact to destroy ballistic missiles in the exoatmosphere, completely outside the Earth's atmosphere. Below that altitude, the United States deploys the Patriot PAC-3. The Patriot is a combat-proven, lower-tier system built for strict point defense of highly specific, high-value locations. Western doctrine separates the airspace, assigning highly specialized tools to specific altitudes. The S-400 is built differently. It operates endo-atmospherically, inside the atmosphere, and targets a mixed profile of cruise missiles, fighter jets, and drones. Because it carries a variety of interceptor types in a single deployment, the Russian hardware frequently demonstrates high efficiency in field tests, where threats arrive at different altitudes and speeds simultaneously. Instead of layering specialized single-purpose tools, Russian doctrine dictates building a versatile, multi-threat capability from a single consolidated network. However, even a highly networked area denial weapon has a rigid mathematical limit. In a modern saturation attack, adversaries deploy an autonomous swarm of low-cost aerial drones. These small targets flood the defensive radar systems, masking the approach of larger, highly lethal cruise missiles. If a defense system fires a multi-million-dollar interceptor at every cheap drone, it rapidly exhausts its finite magazine. Once the launcher is empty, the shielded cruise missiles strike the battery itself. To survive this data overload, military operators require artificial intelligence. India's solution to this processing bottleneck is the AWACS-tier Automated Air Defense Control Node. This UI animation demonstrates how the AI functions. It fuses raw sensor telemetry from multiple geographic nodes, eliminating tracking latency and erasing radar blind spots to form one clean picture. It then executes automated threat-to-weapon assignment. The algorithm calculates trajectories and instantly pairs the most efficient defensive interceptor with the appropriate incoming target. A radar that can see for 600 kilometers is useless if human operators cannot process the targets fast enough. Hardware range requires algorithmic processing speed to survive multi-vector target saturation. Even with AI assigning the targets perfectly, using premium area denial weapons creates a fundamental economic problem. This graph illustrates the cost exchange deficit. Launching a $2 million interceptor to destroy a $20,000 drone is financially unsustainable in a prolonged conflict. To offset this deficit, India is scaling its indigenous production. Programs like Project Kusha and the deployment of AWACS systems provide the volume necessary to establish a cost-effective middle-tier defense layer. For the innermost defensive ring, militaries are maintaining high-volume kinetic options. Modernized anti-aircraft guns like the L-70 use radar integration to shred low-altitude drone threats without expending expensive missiles. But the ultimate technological pivot required to solve the saturation economics problem entirely is the directed energy weapon. High-power lasers and microwaves do not run out of ammunition. As long as there is a power supply, they provide an infinite magazine with a negligible cost per kill. Maintaining sovereign airspace is a financial war of attrition. To hold the sky, economic sustainability is exactly as critical as radar range. The era of relying on a single, isolated missile system to protect a nation's borders is permanently over. A modern integrated air defense system requires strict layering. It starts with the outer S-400 weapon engagement zone, transitions into the middle-tier AWACS and Kusha zones, and tightens into an inner ring of directed energy and close-in weapon systems. Next-generation systems like the upcoming S-500 will stretch that outer ring even further, pushing the engagement envelope upward to intercept hypersonic glide vehicles and low-orbit threats. That expanded boundary must always be backstopped by the economic volume of indigenous kinetic systems closer to the ground. This entire architecture will collapse under saturation, without artificial intelligence networks acting as the system's nervous system, and directed energy weapons must anchor the final line to ensure the grid cannot be bankrupted by cheap swarms. Future air superiority will not belong to the military with the single fastest missile. It belongs to the architect who successfully networks the extreme kinematic reach of premium interceptors with the economic endurance of energy weapons.